Hey, Sunshine.
Hey, Sunshine. Hey, Sunshine. Welcome to a special edition of Conversations with Selena. We have pre-election discussion for you tonight. So you all know that election is tomorrow, so we need for you to go out and vote. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so we just want to give you some information pre the election so you can go in making an informed decision, because knowledge is what? Power. Yes. So I am about to immediately turn it over to tonight's moderator, Venner Scott and Dominique Hart.
Hello, everybody. And
Hello. How are you tonight?
I hope
Glad you all
everybody
could
is
be
doing
on with
well.
us. Yes.
Okay, we have a very interesting panel tonight. We have our mayors. What did you call it? Electors or electees, or what would you call you guys?
Candidates.
Candidates for the mayor's election. And so we want to give you guys the opportunity to share with Conversation with Selena audience. We know that she has a YouTube channel, Instagram channel. She's very important on Facebook. So this is a great opportunity for you to share with others your take on it when you become a mayor for the city of Picayune. This race to us is very important. It may not be important for a lot of people, but for a lot of people in our communities around the city of Picayune, this is a very important race. So we wanted to, and we thank you first. We want to thank you guys for agreeing at the last minute. We want the audience to know that this was a very last minute, okay, agreement that they agreed to come on, and so we applaud you. Come on, applaud them for that, because they're getting ready for this big election tomorrow, April the 6th. They're getting ready for this big thing tomorrow. Dominique, is there anything that you would like to say before we get into our questions? He's our second moderator for tonight as well.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. No, I just praying for you all and hope that you both have a great election, and even the Luke that is absent on tonight is praying that you all have a good election tomorrow. The votes will tell who wins. So praying for you both on tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thumbs up. Okay, the questions that we did try to give every candidate, you all got the questions at about the same time. These was questions that was asked to us, that was given to us so that we can ask. This was nothing that we drew up ourselves. We talked to a few people that was in the city, and these were the questions that they themselves came up with. And so we're going to ask the questions that they sent to us to ask you all on tonight. And the first question is, what is your vision for the city and what do you want to accomplish as mayor? We're going to pose this question to Ms. Vellante. We're going to, ladies first, if that's okay. We're going to let Ms. Vellante go first.
Hey, first off, this is my first time actually getting to look at the questions, so I'm winging it.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, take your time. Take your time.
No problem. I've lost my voice too. Sorry, I've been out walking the streets and talking a lot. But
Okay.
my vision for the city is to keep it Picayune. I think that it needs to stay the quaint city that it is, but I think that we need to utilize what we have to give more to the citizens that are here, more to the taxpayers. We need to address I know that's one of the questions probably, I think I was just skimming through here, our empty buildings and bring in business and make it just a better place for everybody to live. A more successful place, a place that has jobs, a place that our children want to come back to so that they're home, they're near us, somewhere they can come back and get a successful job.
All right, awesome. We pose the same question to you, Mr. Laverne. What is your vision for the city and what do you want to accomplish as a mayor?
Well, first of all, Vinny, I'd like to thank you guys for having this venue to kind of get our information out other than just vote for me. So we're just glad to get this message out to the people. I became city councilman when I was 26 years old. That's been many years ago, right?
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. But the point being is that I've seen a lot of things change, but there's a lot of things that are still the same, and that's not a good thing. That's really not a good thing. If you notice my signs around town, it said "Think Big, Picayune." That's important that we really get that message out that it's time for Picayune to start taking giant steps into the future. Let me tell you a couple of things that I would love to see happen in Picayune. And I kind of just got your question about an hour ago also. So there are some questions in here that I may answer twice, right? So my vision for the city, we have a lot of challenges. We such as the train track, right? And I noticed that if you go to my website is laverneguy.com, and you'll see some of my visions on there. And what it is, we're gonna have starting this month actually. We'll talk about a 15-year plan, and we'll talk about a 10-year plan. We'll talk about a plan for today. Today, guys, we really need to take advantage of the things that we have right here in Picayune today. We have some buildings that needs to be occupied. But what gets me with the opportunities that haven't been utilized, okay, is the fact that, give you an example, and because I'll go on and on, but I wanted to kind of narrow it down.
Well, Dominique is going to be our timekeeper,
okay.
so we're.
If you have time, let me know. But
Okay.
here's an example of what Stand the Same has done for our city. Okay, one thing is I was reading the newspaper not long ago that one of the businesses that's here in Picayune, they had asked for a tax abatement, right? And it has taken 10 months for them to give them a simple thing as a tax abatement. That's not leadership. That is not leadership. When you got a business that are already here and have proven themselves, there is no reason at all it should take 9 months to give them that tax abatement that they're requesting.
Okay, so what we're trying to do, Mr. Laverne, we want to keep it to the question, which is, what would you? Okay, go ahead.
That is actually to the question, because
Okay.
I would not have allowed that to happen for 9 months. We're trying to bring business in. We want to keep our businesses that we got. My
Yes.
visions are big, okay? I have really good vision. I think at some point, we need to build a technology park. We had talked about this at some point in the past. I know the county is talking about building a lake, but I think they need to, I mean, we could do both. However, but we need to put that money into a technology park. We need to expand our runway at the airport so that we can fly in larger planes. We're closer to NASA than Waveland, Bay St. Louis. They're right there in our backyard, and we don't take advantage of that location that we have. So my vision would be to really get involved in the economic development of the city and bring some young people, some new thinkers to the table, because we constantly put the same people serve on these economic development councils. And when we need to bring some new ideas, some new thoughts to it, and I'll stop there.
All right, that's awesome. And so now the next question will be, and I know you're taking notes, Tammy, we're going to give you guys a chance to kind of touch on some other things with each other. But the second question is, do you think our Main Street downtown is healthy and successful? If not, what would you do to change that? And we give that question to Ms. Vellante.
Oh, I get to go first every time?
Well,
I can go first.
Switch it up.
okay, we can switch it up. Okay, Mr. Laverne.
Oh, that's up to you.
Go ahead, Miss Mr. Laverne. You got it, Tammy? All right.
Sure, why not? I'm not even running against Mr. Laverne tomorrow, so
Right.
It's all good.
Absolutely.
I think that our Main Street downtown is becoming very healthy and successful. I think that it is growing daily. There's new businesses down there. There's restaurants starting to pop up on all the corners. I know that because I eat there. Because my office is down there on Main Street also. I think that it has become healthy. And I think it could be healthier. And I think they're headed in the right direction. I will tell you that one of the things that we just did was there was this ordinance that was buried deep down in paperwork that if you purchased in the historic district downtown and you rehabbed it, you to the tune of $50,000, you could get some tax abatement money. Well, it was buried deep and it wasn't exactly effective at that price point. So within the last month or two, we actually lowered that to $25,000 for any kind of upgrades. But we also added not only to doing upgrades for just commercial in that location, but also residential. Because there's no reason for a business or a building to sit there empty if it qualifies for either or both. I think, some people that are starting a mom and pop place, it would be fantastic for them to put that $25,000 into rehabbing the building, making the building great, and then adding their residents onto the back of it. Because when you're first starting off, sometimes it's best to live where you work because one mortgage is better than two. So that is something that we actually just started just recently. So that's something that I highly advocate. What I would change is I would expand on that from just Main Street downtown to the entire city of Picayune, not just that one location. Now, I do understand that Main Street in particular qualifies for grants and funding that the city as a whole does not necessarily qualify for. So this kind of little bit off subject, but to make Main Street more successful, it needs to be expanded throughout the entire city. We need to find other grants and other ways to be able to do for the businesses or even tax abatements for the businesses in the historic district needs to be presented to be done throughout the whole entire city for all the commercial locations.
Awesome. That's awesome. Same question to you, Mr. Laverne. Do you think our Main Street downtown is healthy and successful? If not, what would you do to change that?
So, being that I've served previously on the city council and acted as mayor pro temp for many years, the abatement program was started under I don't know what year, but it under the administration that we actually served on, right? And so I understand how that could be utilized for our downtowners. It really needs to be, the information have to be shared with the people that are in the downtown area, because that's one thing that we lack. And I don't. This is not a criticism of the current administration. It just have always been that way. We got to be able to communicate with the people there. Downtowners does a great job with downtown. Okay, think about it. With downtown, they do an excellent job. However, downtown is not the economic engine for the city. It's not. So we allow the downtowners to continue to do what they're doing, but our thoughts have to be big. We can't limit it to downtown, in which they do an excellent job down there. Let the downtowners continue doing what they are doing. Matter of fact, I met with Reba a couple of days ago, and that was my thing to her. Reba, paint a mural on the wall downtown. That's okay, but we got to think bigger than that, right? We got to get outside of that limited thinking. So the downtowners, Main Street does an excellent job. I can't criticize them for what they do because that's what they specialize in. They're trying to do downtown, but we have to think bigger than that. We got to, our mindset have to go beyond that thinking. So I'll agree with you, downtowners. I agree with you, Tammy. They do an excellent job. There are some opportunities out there, and I'm glad somebody within your and in the current administration decided to say, "Hey, let's take a look at this." Right? That was a good idea, but we needed to build on that idea. And the problem with the last 12 years. And I've been off the city council that long, is that you have not, and Tammy, this is guys, listen, this is not criticizing Tammy. I promise you that, okay? I'm just saying the administration. I will. But this has no reflection on what she's done, or because I appreciate her having the courage to come on when some people don't have the courage to do that. So I think we got to look at we got to go back and look at the comprehensive plan. We have a comprehensive plan that nobody has picked up in 12 or 14 years. This is crazy. It makes absolutely no sense that we don't pick that up and try to move forward. If you don't like it, take the time and change it, and improve it, enhance it. Every administration, the last 12 years, have tried to reinvent the wheel, right? And there is no need to do that. And I'm gonna stop there because I'm stopping.
Thank you.
Could I expand on what he said?
Absolutely, yes.
I completely agree with him. As far as when I became a council member, I asked to do a booklet, a workshop, a workbook, something that welcomes businesses, gives all the detailed information of who they need to go to do what kind of incentives they can get all across the board. So it's fair and equal and even for everyone. I haven't been able to accomplish it. I'm not going to go into detail as to why, but that's actually part of the thing that I'm running on is if you are an investor and you are driving through Picayune and you go to two places and nobody can give you an answer, you're going to keep on going to the next town. And I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
And I want to say, Tim, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I really do. And other things that keep people what comes into Picayune, and reason they keep going by, they pass by downtown, they pass by Picayune, period. There is a sign, Tammy, and I'm challenging. Not you, Tim, but I'm challenging the administration to take a look at. There's a sign, there's an emblem on that, when you get there at Hardee's, right? When you get to Hardee's.
Be nice, Mr. Laverne. Keep it clean, please. Keep it clean.
It's very clean because
that one's clean. I know what he's getting ready to say. It's clean.
But listen,
I know what he's going to say on that one.
We come into Hardee's. I want somebody to look at this, Tammy, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm probably was like you. You probably hadn't even paid attention to it because it took me years before I actually seen it. And the only reason I saw it, I was bringing a company into Picayune I was acting as a consultant, and we came there, and the guy told me to stop. turn around. And so I did that. And he said, what is that right there? And I said, a welcome to Picayune sign, because that's what it say, right? And then you got these emblems on there, which you got Chamber of Commerce, Rotary, all that's good. But you know what's on there? A rebel flag. And that guy he was from California, and he said, I do not want to be in this town. That kind of stuff chases businesses away. And guess what? It's still there. I've talked to Jim. I've talked to several people in our city. Oh, I don't know how I got there, which I'm just as guilty, because I didn't know it was there when I was on the city council. I didn't realize that. But we need to pay attention to stuff like that. That kind of stuff keeps people from coming into the city. And then, another place is at.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to move on from
Main Street building. They have this big emblem, big sign, Main Street. Why would you have that there?
You talk about
The council
the Train Depot?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that
that the one in front of the Train Depot.
Yeah, right in front of
The council, that's been put there in the last 8 years, and the council did not vote for that. I have never voted for that. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where that's what everybody tell me, but it's a big
Yeah,
old
we didn't vote for it.
honoring.
What is it again?
It's
What is it again that's above
We're
there?
really off subject.
Yeah, we're off subject. Yeah.
We're off
We'll
subject,
talk
but I
about.
think I missed it, so I want to know what that was. I missed that. What is that above?
They said it's a rebel
It's not a rebel
flag.
No, it's not
emblem. It's a rebel emblem.
No.
What is it?
He know
Okay,
about
explain. What is it, Mr. Laverne?
That's the one coming into the city, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I heard that one, but what was the other one?
On Main Street.
What is it?
Main Street. You have a I don't know, it's a big, what do you call it, Tammy? It's a big sign there honoring the Confederate veterans and stuff like that. That has no point. That has nothing to do with our city. People.
Okay, those are things that if you become mayor, we're looking for.
Listen, I'll just take it. Tammy just admitted. She just admitted that the council did not approve.
The council didn't approve it, right?
Then they should take it down. What stopped people taking it down? Then that's what I want to know. Just take it down.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on with our third question, which is some people in our community say that we have traffic. I mean, we have traffic. We have a traffic problem because of the train. What do you think, and how would you mitigate those concerns or change the situation? Tammy, can we hear from you, my dear?
I'll go first because we've been on Tammy first all the time, right?
Oh no, you just got to, yeah. Hold on, let me.
No, this is all
you're gonna have to
go,
keep it
Mr.
short.
Laverne.
Am I going first?
Before you go, please, we want to keep this as clean as possible, and we're trying to get away from anything that consists of race difference. So please, let's keep to the question. I understand your concern.
We understand the concern.
Please, sir, I'm begging you.
I got you. However, that's not race difference. The Confederate flag is
okay, Mr. Laverne. We don't want to talk about the flag anymore. We want the question.
Guys,
we want to hear about the traffic problem for the train.
Okay. Here we go. Because I think when you bring this issue up, everybody gets so sensitive about it. However,
no, we're not. We're not sensitive. We don't have that kind of time right now. We don't. I promise you.
But no, the question was answered because it was brought up, and it has nothing to do with racism. Nothing. It has everything to do with fair. Now, the answer to the question as far as the training, right?
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, I've been there forever, right? This proposal was brought to Washington, D.C. We brought this to Washington. We brought this to DC.
Around.
Okay. All right. But this was brought to Washington, D.C. by me and a group of city councilmen back 20 years ago. We had a plan to build a overpath over the train track. Those are the things that we talked about way back then. It's following up is what I think we need to do. Administrations need to look at your situation like the comprehensive plan. This is not a new problem. This problem has been in the city of Picayune. We do need to look at how we get that get over the train track, because now all of your medical situation is on the other side of the track, right? You got to get over the track. Before it was on the other side of the track, you had to get on this side. So that problem has been an issue forever. So on my website, laverneguy.com, you'll see I address that issue, because you're absolutely right. That's an issue that we have to at some point address. We have plans for that. Those plans have been there since 20 years ago.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Vellante.
Well, I think I have a lot of opinions about the train tracks, to be honest with you. I think first and foremost, it may not be terribly popular to say it, but without that train track, we wouldn't have industry. So we have to learn how to get along with the train track, and the overpass idea and everything. That's a great idea. That's going to be a very, very long process. I think for what I would have to concentrate for the short term would be much better communication, much better scheduling of when the train tracks come through, and the communication as to when that's going to happen, and notifying the public when they're going to work on the train track. I think that really was the main thing that recently everybody had such an issue with, was they weren't notified and they shut them all down at one time. They should definitely work on one or two of them at a time and leave the others. So I think, with a long-term goal of something and a short-term goal of communication would help a lot. And with emergencies, if we had the communication at hand and we knew they were going to work on train tracks, emergency personnel would know to take the overpass that we do have in place for emergencies. And that's the one on 43 North, because you can still get around the city and get to the hospital if you take that overpass, because we do have an overpass, and it's not entirely out of the way. If you're downtown and you're going to the hospital, it's just as fast, if not faster, to take Beach and come up to get to the hospital as it would be over the track. But our greatest concern is the communication and knowing when we need to prepare for situations like that, and when we need to, utilize that particular overpass. So
Yeah, and I understand that, but I think most of the concern for this side of the community is we've seen a lot of our loved ones, several of them expire because they were not able to get to the hospital in time because of a train. So I think we have more of a bigger concern. I don't know, for the tracks. I think because of situations where we know people are in our communities on this side. I don't know about the other side on this side that did lose their life because there was trains on the tracks or something like that or whatever. But I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Laverne?
Well, and we have to, like I said, we have ordinances, right? There's an ordinance that address those type of situation that we have right now. It's just that some people need to pick up the ordinance book and look at it. There's limits that they place on how long a train can sit on the track. So all of those things just need to be enforced. So I'm just saying that, hey, guys, if I say something, then you're going to say it's racist, but it's not. Everything is not. Some things has nothing to do with racism at all. It just deal with the facts, and that's what we have to deal with sometimes is the facts. And once we start be willing to deal with facts, then we can have a good conversation. But
absolutely.
We addressed this issue 20 years ago, where we went to DC, Gene Taylor, Trent Lott, Thad Cochran, had plans, and we have a plan right there at Main Street, right where my office is at. We went over it, and you dropped down on Memorial Boulevard. That was the solution to that. However, you gotta have a continuity of government. That's the reason you have a comprehensive plan. That's the reason when new administrations come in, they need to take a look at that and see what those plans are, and not start reinventing a wheel every time. So that's what I'm saying, guys. I've been here. I'm a lifetime Picayunian, right? And I've seen the worst of Picayune, and I've seen not the best of Picayune yet, because the best is yet to come. And that's only going to come when you elect a person like Laverne Guy.
Okay, well, we have some people that have questions. The ones that are watching our live. Ronald Antoine, is that Ronald Antoine said, would they only grow downtown? Would they only grow downtown? That was one of the questions that one of the viewers that's watching now is asking. Would they only grow
we went
downtown?
through the questionnaire first?
No, I just wanted to make sure that we address some of the ones
Have we went through the questionnaire first?
Yeah. Huh?
I was keeping notes so that we can stay on schedule. We can maybe come back to those questions.
Well, we're not going to ask all 10 questions. These was just questions that we have, but we wanted to get the conversation going. But I want them to be able to address the people that are on our live. So that's what Mr. Ronnie Antoine asked the question. They're gonna would they only grow downtown? So
the answer to the question is no. I think downtown, like I said, they have their Main Street group who does an excellent job downtown. However, beyond that, Picayune have to think big. They have to start thinking about doing things like on the Nicholson exit. You need a cosmetic improvement in that area. We need to develop better relationship with Stennis. We need to bring in the Pearl River Junior College, and let's have a career to college type program. These are the things that we really need to do. We need to address in our city. I know, and I hate when people start talking races and stuff like that, whether it's black or white or whatever, because my issues has nothing to do with racism. It has to do with economic development. And I'm pointing out things that prevent us from really becoming that city that we can be. And it's by getting rid of some of those images that prevent us from moving forward. Guys, there's people who are wanting to come to Picayune, but they will not align themselves with some of the stuff that we have that's displayed as Picayune. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. And so to Ronnie's question, Ronnie, I think bigger than that. Yes, we have downtowners that get grants, that makes money on the street fairs and stuff like that, and they invested right back in downtown. They do an excellent job from paving to doing stuff in downtown. That's what the downtowners, that's what the Main Street do. That's what they should do. However, it goes beyond that. It goes to big thinkers that are serving on the city council and sitting in that mayor position who have to think beyond that and not depend on Main Street to provide economic development for the city. And I mention this not in a critical mode, but in a sense of facts. Downtown is not the economic engine for the city of Picayune. We have to think bigger than that. Main Street does an excellent job with the downtown, and that's what they do. That's what their jobs are. And our job is to think bigger, is to go beyond that. Now, I could talk about missed opportunities as far as economic development, but I'm not going to do that right now because we have missed opportunities that we allowed to slip through our fingers because nobody is paying attention. So
Ms. Volante, would you like to address that as well?
I mean, I agree with them. We've already talked about
it.
Main Street's doing a great job, and it just needs
to
be
expanded
all the way to the city limits. I do have another engagement that I have to
I know. I
get to
remember
a
you
little,
telling me. Yeah.
but I would like to address one or two questions real quick and then talk
Okay.
about y'all. I know that you had some questions about how the difference between a
That's fine.
primary and general. So, how do you want to handle that?
You,
Do you want me to just
you
go
can
for
go
it and
ahead.
let
You can
let
go ahead
Laverne
because
have
we're
the
gonna
floor?
keep Mr. Laverne on here. We're
Okay.
gonna, yeah, he's gonna stay
Okay.
with us.
Okay. Well, just quickly, I'm just going to think of a couple more things, and then I have to go. Got that primary tomorrow. I have to work on.
I know
Um,
you told us. Thank you for
yeah.
coming on.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you,
As far-
Tammy.
I've got a couple things I can address really quickly.
Okay.
As far as the question about improving housing conditions, I have recently spoke and I have put stuff on Facebook about I'm a general contractor and I've built some houses. I've built some houses in the city and I'm currently building a house in the county. That's the same exact house. It costs in permitting 3 times more to build it in the city limits than it does in the county. I think we need to address that. On top of it being 3 times more, the county's already seeing the opportunity for all the growth that's coming, and they're trying to lower theirs even more. So the city has got, if you want to build something in the city, it's not as equitable to do. We need to address the permitting. The other thing that I'll hit on real quick, let me see what else there was. There was something else I was going to hit on real quick too. Residents. Involving residents in decision making and
The parks was a question before you get on.
Okay, let me finish. Can I finish this one real quick? Because I already got it at the tip of my tongue.
Go ahead.
Y'all know how I am. As far as involving residents in making decisions, I had somebody that actually volunteered to record live our council meetings years ago. Actually, on 2 different occasions, 2 different people volunteered to do it. I think it's imperative to get the community involved. They need to know what's going on. And in order to know what's going on, they don't have to, be off work at 5 o'clock, the second and the first and the third Tuesdays of every month. If we record it, we archive it, we make it available. You can look at it on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, whenever you can, and then you can reach out to your council person and discuss what you saw. But as it is now, 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, you got kids, you got 2 jobs, you can't get to a council meeting to find out what's going on. That's the number one goal for helping residents get involved in the decision-making process is transparency by putting it all out there for them to see what is going on. So what was the other thing you wanted to ask me about?
Dominique?
I know you wanted to talk about the primary versus the general.
Yes. Please, y'all, explain that to our audience, how this works. Because let me just share with you, a lot of our audience was actually told not to vote in this primary election, to wait until the next election. We were being told that even today while we were out, that they were told not to vote. It wasn't important. They're not to vote in this election, but they needed to vote in the next election coming up. And I'm going like, no, it's very important that you vote in the primary election. And a lot of them need to understand about crossing their votes from Democrat to Republic. And we need you all to explain that. Since we have a Republic and a Democrat on, can y'all help us with that? A lot of people have concerns.
Yeah.
Sure. I know that tomorrow is the primary, and the best way to explain it is you're choosing the candidate for your party tomorrow. So if you are a Democrat, you want to choose your Democrat that you would like to run in the general. If you are Republican, you want to choose your Republican that you would like to see make it to the general election and tomorrow. And then when you get to the general election, you pretty much can vote for whoever you want to. It's that easy. So, I mean, it's not that easy because I know it's been quite confusing, but it shouldn't be. You know, it's if you want the opportunity to vote for your council person and you live in a Democratic council, well, then you need to vote Democrat to have a voice. If you live in a Republican area where there's a Republican running for council, you need to vote Republican so that you have a voice. Otherwise, there's really not anybody to vote for. So,
unless that Republican want to vote for Laverne Guy.
it's just the primary, Laverne.
Tammy is absolutely correct. That's the way it worked, guys. That's the way it always worked. And if you're a Democrat and you want to vote Democrat, you got to vote Democrat. You can't switch over and vote after you have to vote for Democrat or Republican tomorrow. Okay.
Yes. I'm going to sign off on that. It's been a pleasure. I'm so sorry I can't stay on.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I love y'all. Y'all take care.
Nick is holding up his finger for something.
Nick doing the church thing.
What are you doing?
He's doing the church finger.
You either got you walking out of church, right?
All right. Well, I'm gonna sign.
I think he wanted Tammy. I think he was asking Tammy about parks or something.
Oh, well, we couldn't hear you.
I can't hear it.
Well, I think he wants to know what. Okay, was it a park question on here somewhere?
No.
They wanted to know about I mentioned to you before about the grant, the BP grant. I think that's what he wanted to talk about, the BP grant money that came in for the Friendship Park. And we had talked about why the money wasn't allotted out to all of the parks in the city, just for the
I'm back.
Okay, go ahead and ask your own question.
That was, and there was a question that someone asked that I saw also, and I messaged you about that with the developments that you all came up with the other day. You were briefing us, but one of my questions is, why is Friendship Park always renovated? This is like several times that Friendship Park has been renovated. We have Leola Jordan Park. We have the Eastside Park down on Abrams. We have Snyder Park. We have Rosa Street Park. And several times we went out to do community events, and we get there, there's no power, there's no water, the bathrooms are terrible. And so, that is one of my main concerns, being an activist of this community and always helping host community events. We don't have a system that we can go to when we get out there. And, several times I've called you personally to, hey, can you call them to see if they can get the power on for us? It's like really crazy because we're always having events. PYAA is not picking at the kids, over there that play baseball. That's not the only park that's utilized in this community. We have even Goodyear Park. We have several parks, and they're in the city's hands. They're no longer in personal hands. They're a part of the city now. So when is it, my question, and I'm going to get through, when are they going to renovate and help our parks? We're waiting. We're waiting.
Okay. All right. I can't speak for them, but what I can tell you is the BP funds were for economic development. It was not my job to put that project together. All I got to do was vote to send BP projects up to the state to be chosen from. So that lies with our city administration, not with me. Now, my idea is that the taxes for the parks equals a good $500,000 a year at this point. We're spending $200,000 a year right now on the original bond that they used to make Friendship Park, whatever it was, whenever it was. Laverne can tell you about that because that was before my time. Right. But what I can tell you is getting the BP funds for Friendship Park is going to release all those other funds from the hands of a bond for Friendship Park into possibly, taking care of everything. But getting back to your original question,
I am
So that's where you see what I'm
going
saying.
to-
So Friendship Park gets fixed. So the bond is going to expire in the next 2 years. So then that's $500,000 that we could utilize, to make every child have somewhere to play. But as far as answering your question about why it wasn't added for the BP, all I can figure is because they couldn't present it as economic development, and I had no part in actually writing the BP projects. That was the administration. So I hope that answers your question in a nutshell.
And the administration would be the.
So,
I thank you. So the
yeah.
administration that you're speaking of, that's the city manager and the mayor.
No, that
or
would be the
the
city
administration prior
the
to
people
you.
that actually, the people that work in the city, not the people that vote. We vote for what is presented to us, and that's what was presented to us. And with that, I have to run.
Okay, dear. Go
That
ahead
answer
and
your
take care.
question, okay?
Thank you. You
Thank
did
you,
well. We're
Tammy.
gonna let Mr. Laverne finish it up. We know he's gonna come with it.
Bring it home. Bring it home. See y'all later.
Okay.
Bye, Tammy. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thanks, Tammy. We appreciate your courage. Guys, listen. When she speak
Oh.
of the administration,
I don't. Before we,
she's part of the
Yeah.
administration.
I'm
What-
sorry,
what
I
is
didn't mean
the
to cut you off. I think that this was very brief, so I don't think that it's about their courage. A lot of them really, honestly, got the information
The
today.
last week.
So
Today.
there's a lot of them that just may
Yeah.
already have
Just
prior
allow me, if
engagement.
you will,
I don't think
allow
it's
me to
actually
explain.
about courage.
Okay. Now, what you
Right.
say, Mr. Laverne?
Thank you. What I'm trying to do is give you some understanding, not necessarily courage, because what happens being part of an administration, when you use that terminology, you're talking about it's inclusive of everybody that's there. You're talking about your mayor and the council and city manager. Now, what happens is because of lack of understanding, I'll put it that way since I can't use the word courage, because of lack of understanding, a lot of the councilmen, just like she was, thought that the administration needed to bring that to them. That's not the way it worked. Listen, everybody on that city council are given an opportunity to present their ideas. When that BP money came, you didn't have to limit it to Friendship Park or to a park.
Right.
She said economic development, right? So it could have been utilized for a lot of other things. However, we don't have people in office, and this is, God knows, it's nothing to do with Tammy, okay? It has to do with people who don't understand how the government works. So they need the knowledge of how things work. The Bible say, in all your getting, get what?
Get an understanding.
You got to get understanding of how this system works. And if you know how it works, you could make it work for your community. You could make it work for your city, because those BP funds wasn't limited to recreation. It was not. Guys, we got to get. That's when I said this got to be a young people campaign for me, not campaign, but a young people movement, because you got to have the knowledge. My people perish because of lack of knowledge, and that's what's happened. Just like this voting thing, with all this misinformation going on out there. Oh, you can vote this, vote for a Republican. We got this strategy. This is the craziest stuff I've ever heard. I'm telling you, and it's because of lack of knowledge, guys. It's important that we as citizens, period, get understanding of how city government works, how the form of government that we are currently under, how it works. Because it's just like, and you mentioned the housing. That's one of your questions.
That's one of the questions that
That's
we
one of the
did have. Yeah.
Let me tell you what
Do
I
you
have.
think building affordable housing is important to our community, especially access to low income affordable housing? And
Ab-
what would you do to improve housing condition for low income families?
Absolutely. And let me tell you my plan for that, okay? As I mentioned to you guys, I was elected to the council when I was 26 years old, right? Rosa Street at that time had all of these dilapidated houses. I don't know if some of you wasn't even born yet, right? But when you look at Rosa Street right now, you see a huge improvement in that area. You see brick homes all through that area. Am I correct? Yes, I am.
Yes.
Because you had thinkers, you had people like Miss McGrew, you had Mr. Harvey Nixon, who understood how to utilize those funds that comes into the city sometimes, and they've cut those funds off now. However, here's what I would do, because I've talked with a good friend of mine. He's a housing director. What we want to do, because we keeping an ear out at the what's happening in Washington D.C. right now under the Democratic administration under Joe Biden, and what they're saying is we're going to put $330 million aside for housing. Okay, so what do you do with that? These administrations throughout the state of Mississippi are going to get a portion of that money. So if Picayune Group, okay, if they go up there and they ask for a certain part of that money to go spend it this way, they're going to give it to them. The state is going to allow them to have that money for that. However, if we look at East Side and Goodyear, okay, if we really take a serious look at East Side and Goodyear, and we can have a vision to say, hey, listen, we want this to look like Rosa Street. We want this to look like Bruce Street. We want this whole area to be changed. You got to have a plan for that. I have a plan for that. I have a housing director who would come in and he would help us to try to get that money to put into the housing situation on the east side of town and also in Goodyear. I got a plan for that. And when you mention recreation, now I know it's a touchy issue, and you say, and it is, because we have to really think beyond Friendship Park, right? Friendship Park, it's our elite park. I understand that. That is true. She just told you we get $500,000 a year from a dedicated sales tax, right? That tax was dedicated to improve Friendship Park and to fund economic development for the city. I think we should put a swimming pool on the east side of town and also on the south side. Those are things that we need to think about. And guys, there are plans to do that. And it is not going to be controversial because we're going to generate that funds within our own communities. I'll be asking for a millage, our millage. We'd have to do one meal, and it'll be paid by a certain section of our town, which would be our side of town and crosstown. That's not controversial. That's saying we want it, we pay for it. Those are kind of thoughts. That's the kind of thinking we got to have when we're in this type of administration. Guys, what I'm saying is, and don't always paint a picture of me being racist. I'm being honest. I'm being factual, and that's what it's about. I'm not a racist person. I'm really not. I just see a bigger picture. I can see how we're belittled, and I have a different mentality that we are capable of doing anything anybody else can do. We have that capability. And I want to instill that in my people, in my young people, period. Black, white, it doesn't matter. Young people have to understand that we are capable of doing this. And we just too long have allowed certain people in this community, certain aristocrats, control the whole thing, everything that goes on in Picayune. And we got to get beyond that. You got young white kids who understand that, and we got to buy into that. And we got to change our perception of who we are.
Okay, a question is asked by Mr. Carl Woodson. What about our own PYA in our neighborhood? What is a PYA? Y'all educate me on that.
Don't take me there, okay?
Okay, wait, no.
I'll agree with Carl. I'll agree with him because sometimes we have to do things ourselves. We can't always wait on other people to do stuff for us.
Okay, thank you. And they
You know,
want,
you know that's what I say all the time, Mr.
And that,
Laverne.
yeah. Um,
that's what Carl is referring to.
Yes, well,
You know,
okay,
what
well, you
about
know
in
that's
our
my thought
property?
process. Yes,
Absolutely. So that's the reason when I say about the swimming pool, we could do this ourselves. We,
yes.
each, just imagine Crosstown. I don't know what the population over there. My side of town, I don't know what the population up there, but people volunteer. The city issue a bond, right? We issue some bonds to build a swimming pool crosstown, and we build it on this side, and we dedicate certain a millage to retire that bond. So those are the kind of things we have to think outside the
Can you
box.
explain to them a millage? I know millage. I know millage because I understand the language. Can you
Right,
explain to our audience millage because they don't understand millage? I understand millage.
right. For everybody who own property, you know, like a home or something like that, there's a certain amount that is set aside to that added to the taxes so that you have to pay, right? You have to pay. If it's one meal is a certain amount, I don't know the value of the millage right now. However, that meal is the city issue a meal to pay for city services, right? Uh, right now, I think it's like 35 meals. That's a lot of money. That's a ton of money that the city gets from from me owning property, from you owning property in the city. Okay, you get a ton. There's a ton of money coming to the city. So if one meal or half a meal is issued, that's a ton of money that we would use to retire a bond. Okay, and what the city would do, they would issue a bond. They would go out and they would borrow money. Right, that's what that would be. That bond would be borrowing money. So we'll borrow money and we'll retire that bond. You pay it back. Okay, paid back by the taxpayers within that district. And you issue a half a mil, and that would be enough to retire that bond over a 5-year period. So that's just that simple. Then the other way of generating revenue is not always increasing the millage, right? We could it's a sales tax. So that's where that money that she mentioned about the $500,000 that comes in from economic development, that comes from a sales tax. It's a extra penny that attached to hotel services, also to the prepared food and the food that we go to different places to buy, like McDonald's and Burger King, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a special sales tax that you pay that's dedicated to the economic development, which we limited to Friendship Park, which isn't fair. So I'm telling you guys, it's important that we get an understanding of how this works, and we won't go to the city council meeting all the time, not knowing what we're there for, or having the correct information on how to battle these things, because
Well,
that's
hopefully, Mr. Laverne, we're trying to get it where the people of the city of Picayune will get back involved with city council meetings.
yeah,
I've been here now, I think, what, 4 years, and good Lord, I can count the people from our community that the younger people anyway. We had some older people that was there,
right.
but the younger people or other people that was even attending the meetings because it had became so programmed for them that they just didn't feel that it was even necessary for them to go to the meetings anymore. But we have a question by Charlotte Bassett. She said, why not put the money to get new industries in Picayune? Then we will have people supporting themselves.
Absolutely, and that's a broad That's a broad. Uh, it's not a question, but it's a suggestion. It's a broad suggestion, and I agree with what she's saying. And that's the reason we have to have the knowledge of how this thing works. We got to know where our revenues come from. We got to know where our expenditures. Our expenditures, you can see it right now. They put in $18 million in paving road, and that's important. But that's not an economic development solution. It's not. I think we got to find some more companies that come in into the city. We got to aggressively search for those type of companies to come in so that it can help with making sure that we don't have to tax people to death. Those things are great. I think that's a good suggestion that the young lady just mentioned. It really is.
Awesome.
That's
What are we
where
looking
I-
like on our time, Selena? I'm sorry, Miss Laverne. What
That's
are we
okay.
looking like on our time,
Where?
Selena?
I just text to find out where Mr. Robinson is, if he's ready to come on.
Yeah.
So
But guys,
it's
listen,
8:30 now.
Where are we, Selena?
It's 8:30.
Okay, what we did start late though.
we did. And
Well, we
Oh, no,
started
wait.
about 7. We started at 7:30.
7:30. Okay, so we
I
that
would-
hour in, like we said, about an hour. Yeah.
yeah. And so I'll appreciate what you guys are doing. I really do. I'm encouraged by seeing young people being involved. This is so important. It's so critical that we and our younger generation get involved in into the politics of this city, not just this city, but our nation.
Our
It's
nation.
important. It is. You guys are the people that's going to be holding this banner up in the next few years. Us old folks gonna be sitting back somewhere.
Well,
But-
we thank you. We want to just, me myself, I don't have a hat on, but if I would, I would tip my hat to you, Mr. Laverne, for getting back involved
Yeah,
in the community. Because when I was younger, I know that you were very involved in our community. I remember when you sat on the city council. I remember that a lot of change, a lot of things was happening in the community when you were on the city council seat. And so I do, and I know that you kind of pulled back for a while from this arena, and I know it's really I know this is not easy for you to step back into this arena, but we tipped our hat off to you for giving it another try, giving it another shot and not giving up on our community. And that was the one thing that I've asked, not just you, but I've asked all of the leaders in our community that I knew was very involved in the community at one time, because we were starting to have issues or things with the young people in the community, and it was like, okay, where were all the guys that when I was growing up, the Prunes and the Uncle Tucker and all of these people. Yeah, that got involved with our young community, and it was like, where are they at? And so, but I tip my hat to you because you said, you made a promise that you would get back involved, and involved you have been since I've been here. And so I do tip my hat off to you. A lot of people may not know you, but I know that you were a man that stayed very involved in this community at one time. So I'm very excited that you are back involved. We have another question by Christy Jones. She said, can you provide the location of Mr. Laverne's headquarters?
I'm going to be on Main Street. We're doing some rearrangement of stuff on my building there. That would be my Picayune headquarters. It's 605 South Main Street here in Picayune. And my website again is laverneguy.com. Okay, it's a work in progress, so we're doing some things that's going to enhance it a little more. But you can see what my platform is. But I want to say this: the Bible said there arose a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph, and that's what happens in communities. There arise a generation who don't know Laverne Guy, who don't know the efforts that we have put forth to move our city forward. It is so important that we stay on that track, because we was making giant steps at that time. We was doing some things. We had some stuff in place to continue it. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna close. I know you guys got somebody else.
Not that Baptist close. All right. He said, no throwing out. I can't throw out. You heard me, Dominique?
Listen. I heard Mother Pryor there. I see Mother Pryor sitting up on the screen right there. But I just want to encourage all of you young people to continue doing what you're doing. It's important that we do this. One thing that I would love to see, and I'm gonna close here because I want you to go to my website. One thing that I really believe is that everybody, all our people, period, white and black, they're not college material, right? So we have to slow all of this stuff down, man. Slow it down. We got to start our vote techno situation. There need to be VOTEC taught back in the school system. All of this stuff is important. Our young people suffer because of that. They need to be given a chance. You know, everybody's not going to graduate cum laude or whatever. So we gotta make it where average people or kids are able to get them a good start in life. A vocational center would be great, starting back in the schools district and make all those kids accessible to it. Don't limit it. Oh, you got in trouble, so you can't go to. That's crazy stuff. My goodness. So that's all I want to say. Thank you guys so much.
Dominique,
Thank
are
you. Thank
we're
you, Mr.
still waiting
Laverne.
for, we're still waiting for Pastor Burnett.
I'm texting now to find out. Thank you again, Mr. Laverne.
Very good.
for
Mr.
coming
Laverne,
on.
before you get off, I got this. We have to ask you this because this is really very important at this time. And then we're gonna let you go because we're still waiting for Pastor Robinson to come on for a few minutes, and then we're gonna let you guys go. But as we know, combating crime requires the effective cooperation between the police and the local residents. As a candidate, what do you believe is the responsibility of our law enforcement to engage with local residents in their neighborhoods?
Yeah.
And
I-
that's the last thing I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you.
I think there were some things that attempted to be done, and it was to show our young people, which I just totally disagreed with whatever was being held, where they was teaching our young kids how to be arrested, right? This is what you're supposed to do to be arrested, and they did. It was done right here by your local city councilman who was showing people how. But guys, I said
Did
this.
you know that, Dominique?
It was held at Pleasant Valley.
I was trying to listen. Can you repeat it, Mr. Guy?
Well, hold on just a second. Okay. All right. But what I was saying is we
What
there,
was the event?
there was an event at Pleasant Valley, I guess a year or so ago, and it was telling people how to be, and I'm summarizing, okay? How you should be arrested, what you're supposed to do, and that it's got to be respect on both sides, right? The police got to respect the community, and the community got to respect the police.
I had no knowledge of that, no, sir.
Yeah, me either.
Ask Mr. Breland. He was, I think, he held something at the at Pleasant Valley that was showing that on how you're supposed to act.
Okay, Carl Wilson said he was there. He
Okay,
said he knew that he
yeah.
was there.
Right. But this is the kind of stuff we gotta have young people engaged into this movement. You gotta get involved in it because we are losing. I mean, God, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. I'm just hurt. My heart hurts every day when I'm watching TV about that situation. It hurts my heart to watch this. And then we shouldn't, America shouldn't be having to go through all of this, to say, oh, the man is guilty. He's guilty. He killed a man, right? So we gotta be real about that. That's not racist thinking. That's not at all. So we got to be real, and we got to have real talk about these kind of things. So to answer your question, we got to have jobs for our young people. We have to have mentors in our communities to help kids, and we got to give them something to do. Recreation, brother, you asked that question. It's very important. In every one of our communities, you need to have. You got parks. Why not support them? Why don't the city support those parks? I don't understand that neither. That's a question that I don't understand. So I agree with you. We got not only that. There's some things that we have to do also. It's not left up to somebody else to raise our children, right? We got our community. It's to take a village to raise a kid. And so we need this whole village working together to try to raise our children. When you had the Prunes and the
That is
EC, the people like that, Mr. West Hart on the other side of town, these guys invested their time. They really did. So we got a challenge, just like you challenged me, Vinny, to get back out here. Because I'm gonna tell you, there was a generation of us, right? We kind of got caught up in our own lives, and I'm guilty of that. And we just kind of allowed our another generation behind us to just go after it, right? And we shouldn't be. I shouldn't have did that. But I got caught up in my own selfishness and wanted to do my, trying to provide for my family. So I get caught up in doing stuff when there are so many people behind us who need our help. And that's what we got to do. We got to give something. We got to come back to the community. I grew up in the projects. Proud project boy. I'm telling you, I loved it. When I moved in the project, it was like moving on up. I was like the what's it, Jefferson moving on up. That was me and my family. I loved it. But we had people who was there to help us along the way. So we got to put stuff back in to the community, and those community parks would allow us to do that, right? It would allow us to come out of our houses and go in there and help coach baseball. So we was trying to do the baseball thing last year before the pandemic. And so those things we got to get back to doing. I agree. I think we still got men who are out there that really is willing to do something. And so I think this challenge that you put towards me is what we need to be done to other people, because we got to get back out there and we got to save our children, because we're losing them, baby. And I'm so it hurts my heart to see what's happening. So we just have to challenge. Go. You got a lot of good organizations out there now, that they don't get any. You got the truckers, you got the Masons, and those guys like that who are willing to get out there and help out.
They
They just
are.
need to know what. Hey, tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
So we need to really get back together. We need to build this young people movement, not campaign, but I do want you involved in my campaign, because if I win, I promise you guys, when I win, I'm bringing a lot of you young folks into the fold. So you guys get ready with your thoughts, with your knowledge, and put it to action. And even if I don't, we got to do something to encourage you guys to stay engaged. It's so important that you do that. White and black kids. You got to do
Absolutely.
that.
Miss Tara Ferguson, I'm gonna read two of her comments, and then I think they're trying to get Pastor Vernon. Then we're gonna have to close out. We can't kind of we're trying to be keeping conversation with Selena alive. But Miss Tara said that they were teaching kids how to make it home alive from a police stop, and it was someone named Donnie. Is it Donna Manning?
No, I think she was just tagging Dion.
Oh, she was she was tagging her. Okay. And
Okay.
then also Octavia Spike says maybe we can get a basketball gym for these kids, which we've talked about that before, getting a closed in gym. We're praying that we can get a closed in building
Absolutely.
for the kids, because when it's raining, they can't play at that park at JP Johnson's Park. They can't do anything. We need closed in buildings. And also, Miss Tyra says something that's very important, that we had here in this community. If we didn't have nothing else, families needs to get back to God.
Absolutely.
That was the one
Absolutely.
thing that we had.
That is the foundation of everything, guys.
Yeah,
I'll agree.
absolutely.
And I always refer to, I see Mother Price sitting up there. and that's what she believed. That's what our community have always built our foundation on. And we must do that. We really must do that. And so if given an
Mother I've
opportunity,
been quiet over here.
I know.
I'm just smiling.
But yeah, I remember, sister, I remember your grandmother, and I thought she was such a wonderful person. But that's the kind of stuff we got to have in our community. People that have a heart of God, and that are really serious about moving our community, and not be so selfish and trying to do things and what I can get out of it. It's not about that. It's about our children. If we can do something to help them, let's do that. Even beyond this election thing, we got to stay engaged. We got to do some stuff. We got to share ideas with one another, and let's do this, man. Let's do it. I think we are very capable of doing a lot of things and not depend on other folks. We got to do things ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm
One
telling
thing I do know, and I'm going to share with the audience, and then what do you have on Dominique? But one of the things that you did say, whether that you would love to become mayor, but if that did not happen, that will not stop you from doing what you want to do in this community. So that was the one thing that I did love about something that you shared. You're getting back in the community really doesn't have to do with the fact that you want them to vote for you. You do want them to vote for you, but
Oh, yeah, please.
you know, but you know, if that doesn't happen, that does not mean that you will not that you would turn your back on the community, because I've shared with you many times over that this community needs a Mr. Laverne.
Yes, and I appreciate that, guys. I really do, and because not because just a little, but because of my heart for the community.
Absolutely.
And
And
there's
I know your heart for
yeah,
the community
for the
because I
community,
grew up with you
right?
as a mentor
Right.
for our community. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're looking forward.
Nick won't know nothing about that, but I'm always sharing with all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
what we got to get back to. And there's a lot of men in my generation who kind of feel this passion that I have. I think we kind of gotten frightened of our younger people for some reason, but we got to start sharing the knowledge and trying to encourage them to come forward, because that is so important. And that's when I really love what you guys are doing. This is good stuff, and I need to bring y'all into this fold.
Okay.
But I know
Well,
you got to remain independent right now. But we got to utilize all of this technology stuff, which I am not privy to at this time, not knowledgeable. So have good. Take care.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Laverne. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we do send out our blessings to all of the candidates or for the mayor election on tomorrow. That's Tammy Belante. She's running on the Republican ticket. And Jim Luke, he's running on the Republican ticket as well. And Mr. Laverne Guy, who's running on the Democratic ticket. So we want to remind you that if you are voting for your city councils and your city councils are Democrat, or you are Democrat, then you will have to vote Democrat across the board. If you are Republican and your Republican, if your city council is Republican, you vote Republican. You vote Republican across the board. Am I correct about that, Mr. Laverne?
That is correct. Yes.
So you cannot cross your votes. But it's really important that we get our city councils in place. Ma'am, I mean, sir, I can see, who was that? Selena, who was that said something?
That was Nick.
I was telling them they can change their votes. It's not restricted, but they need to understand that, No,
they can't cross their votes. They can't vote Democrat and Republican in the same vote. That's
Right.
what I was saying. They can't
no,
cross
not
their
in
vote.
the same time. But if you're
that's what I was
not in the
sharing
same
with
time.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if there's a Democrat that wants to go to Republican, they have liberty to do so.
Absolutely.
If there's a Democrat that wants to go,
they can do that.
It's not
Absolutely.
prohibited. Yeah.
It is not prohibited.
Just not on the same ballot.
Not on the same. That's what I'm trying to get out to the people. You cannot vote that on the same ballot. You cannot be a Republican or Democrat on the same ballot. Okay, so you have to make your choices. We're not telling nobody who to vote for. We are not pushing our endorsement on nobody. I know who I'm voting for. I'm sure everybody else know who they're voting for, but I can tell you this. We just want to be prayerful for our city. and again, we are praying for all of the candidates, and we don't say good luck, but we saying blessings to each and every one of you. And we want the Lord's will to be done. Amen.
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 Back over to you, Miss Selena.
Well, I just love Lisa's comment. She says, Mother Pryor is why most of us
I have
are
one
here
thing
today.
before you come on.
She kept her church doors open. So
She did.
that just
Right.
warmed my heart.
That's the truth. That is the God's honest truth.
So
Love
thank you,
it.
Lisa, for that comment.
Yep. That's right.
That's
What
my
you said?
granny.
Dominique, what did
All
you
right,
say?
Nick.
We're waiting on you, Dominique. He froze up. You froze up, Dominique.
He rocking.
Dominique.
Can't hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Now we can.
Can y'all hear me?
Now.
Okay. What I wanted to add, I kind of see patiently. I saw some of the comments that were saying, about the gym, about the to add with the parks. And I would just like to say that they have so many organizations, and no disrespect to no one, but this is my view. If we come together, just as I balled my fist together, as one, you, me, them, they, and come together as one force, like a balled fist, we can impact and make an impact. They have Pastor Hart, which is supervisor of District 1, that has pathways. That's something that's in place that if we come together, we can push that and make it happen. They have unity. If we come together, they have the village with Wanda Worley. I forgot the name of her new organization, but my point is Village Strong. My point is, when are we as a community going to come together and not have East Side, and not have Meadowgreen, not have Goodyear, not have Southside, not have Ponderosa? When are we going to come together and join forces and make an impact? Yes, this is an election conversation, but I'm glad.
It keep freezing over.
Part of everything in our community. When are we going to join forces? We can talk all day, but if you have your clique, and if you have your clique, and if you have your clique, and you gonna stay in your clique, ain't nothing gonna be done.
Right.
But if we join together, we can make something happen.
Right. And I know that question isn't directed to me. However, I would love to just kind of encourage that to take place, because it is very essential that we start to pool our resources, come together, and start working on putting forth a unified effort.
Yes.
Because every organization you mentioned and what their goals are pretty much what we all want, right? This is what we all want to do. And so if we could have a conversation, the thing is, everybody is,
yes, sir.
and we need to start talking to each other. We got to start having that conversation with each other, and make sure that we're respecting each other's views. So that if we ever could do that, young man, what you're talking about, bringing that together like that, it's powerful. It is very powerful, but there's always going to be a certain element that's going to be, pulling away. So we allow them to go on their way. Jesus was talking about shaking the Bible was talking about shaking the dust off your feet and move on, right? If they're not going to receive you, you have to get with the people who are going to He just took his 12 and he moved on. And so that's what we got to do. There was more than 12 people in Israel, but he was willing to take the few that he did have and make an impact. So we just have to have the people who are willing to do it, And that, I'll agree with him. If we could some kind of way come together and put forth all of these great ideas, the great minds together.
And we have some great minds.
I'm looking at it right now.
We have some really great minds.
I'm looking at this stuff right now, and I'm going, man, imagine it, because this is what I've said to a couple of young people that are part of my group, and I'm going, guys, I need to get 70 people, young people, online, and let's have a conversation. Right, just what we're doing right here. Let's just have a conversation. Let's talk about how we can get to where we want to be. Because we all want the same. There's so much common ground. We're on this common ground. We just need to implement it. Got to put it.
Well, we need to implement it, Mr. Laverne, but also, and I'll say this, we need some of the successors that has grown in their finances to be able to sow back into our community as well.
Yeah,
that's one of my biggest issues is not so, and I think we're moving away from the we're moving into a whole different conversation right now. But one of my biggest issues is to know that we have so many successful people that came out of Picayune, but and it's not that they don't want to invest back, but now these are conversations that I had with people that have the monies that can come in here and shoot. They can furnish everything over there. It's not a part need be, but they try to invest their money with different things or something. And this Picayune is. And I'm guilty. I'm living here. That Picayune is good for starting and stopping.
Right.
Getting started and stopping.
Yeah.
Getting excited and they're stopped. And so a lot of people say that I can't trust it until I see that y'all are really, really gonna do what you said that you was gonna do. So I'm not gonna give you $1 million to say you guys gonna put up a tent. I'm just using a tent, and that tent never go up. So I mean, and you can't blame them, but we do have people that want to sow those seeds. When we started the Little League, the Picayune Little League, man, we put it out there. Those people was investing, and guess what? We got started, and boom, COVID hit. But guess what? We still have that money sitting over there waiting so that we can get some more uniforms and get our kids going, and so we can get going. We didn't just stop. So let me just tell all of our people who invested in our Picayune Little League, baby, your money is still sitting, and we're waiting. And so now that the air is kind of clearing up, we're getting ready to do our thing. So no, when you investing, and I understand what Dominique is saying, if we can get all of these different organizations, it's just like a body. I'm a minister, so I'm always gonna go here. It's just like a church or body. You got this head that is sending the signals down to everything else. You got different parts of the body that are very, very important, but it won't work until we all work together as a unified body, right? And that's, your hand can't go up without the brain sending a signal and all of this stuff. So we can work together as a body. We can come together as a body and work, but we just have to all learn how to respect, come together and respect that. Selena knows she's doing the conversation with Selena. Look how conversation with Selena has helped us. She's a part of the body. she brought in the mouthpiece that we're able to talk and put a visual to the eyes and whatever. So she's a part of the body. We have much respect for Selena. We're not trying to do what Selena do either. We just have honest respect for Selena and put our support in with what Selena does.
Right.
And so that's how we have to learn how to come together and work together as a unified body, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna hush because of course I got the preacher's mouth, and we're gonna throw it to Selena and we're gonna leave it with Selena. So Mr. Laverne can get off and go have dinner with his family.
All right. Y'all be blessed, and
Love
let's
you, Mr. Laverne. Thank you so
be
much
together.
again. We
Love you
appreciate
guys
it.
too, and looking forward for your vote. Hey, let's make this
Tomorrow.
happen. Let's make this happen, guys, because I'm telling you, we can do this, right? We can do it. So think big, everybody. Think big.
All
Thank
right. You be blessed. Have a blessed night.
You too.
Thank you. Nick, did you have something? I thought Nick was
Blessed.
trying to
Thank
say
you.
something.
Nick, you keep going in and out. That's why we keep missing you.
You okay, Nick? So I just want to thank you all for coming. I wish that everyone.
No,
who
I'm okay.
Okay. I just wish that everyone that received the invite would have been able to come on the platform, because it was a neutral ground just to share your thoughts on the questions that the community had. So next time, maybe before the June election, we can do it a little bit sooner. That way maybe everyone can participate, because it was last minute. But we are very grateful to the for Tammy. We're grateful for
And
Mr.
Dr.
Laverne, and also Bishop Robinson. It looks like he was having a
He
little
was
bit.
having technical
Yeah.
difficulties. He came in about 3 or 4 times.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So did you have anything else that you wanted to say, Pastor?
No, I'm good. And I want to really thank Nick. Nick has really been moving. I don't know how he do what he do. He's been moving around all day trying to get all of every one thing about him. He's been neutral to everything. He's been trying to get all of the candidates a chance to voice, to give their side of whatever it is they're going to be doing or whatever. So Nick, we appreciate you so much. You did so much. He's been running around. I know he's tired. He gave up his trip today so that he can stay to make sure that
Aw.
all of this, he had a trip that he was supposed to have been going on today, but he made sure he stayed so that he can make sure all of this go well on tonight. And Nick, thank you so much. I love you so much. We definitely, I'm gonna put this out here to everybody. We got Sister Zanthia Keys and myself will be doing a celebration for Nick. We want to celebrate Dominique Hart.
I told y'all don't
We
do
want to
that.
give it. That's your problem. We're going to do it. You don't tell us, but you sure don't tell Mama Vinny what to do. So, hey, look, I just talked about you, honey. That's what I was. And see there goes see how the Lord works. She just popped in, and so she and I are going to be putting more details out. We haven't really put all the details together, but we are going to be doing something for Dominique, because Dominique is at everybody's event. I don't care what it is, and somebody say, yeah, he had everybody's church event. No, it don't even have to be church. Dominique is going to be there to support you. That's him. He do not judge. He's going to come and he's going to support everybody in whatever endeavor, anything that you have. Dominique is there. And so we feel that Dominique deserves to be celebrated.
Yes.
And so, he does. And so there's more information that's going to be coming soon. It's going to be headed by, and on here she's Cherie Corner, but we know her as Zanthia.
Cherie Connor.
Yeah, we know her as Zanthia. And so she is going to be leading this. I'm coming through, son. That's right. That's what you see what she says. She's coming through, son. And so she's going to be leading this. And so we did not want it to be a surprise because we wanted his whole, what is it called?
Schedule.
His schedule, because if you don't, we would have been having a celebration and Nick would have been
Without
somewhere
it.
live, somewhere live helping somebody. So we could not do it as a surprise. So if you want to be a part of this, you want to be on this here, just give myself and Sister Zanti a shout. She's gonna be putting it. We're gonna be putting it together, but she is definitely gonna be in charge of it, and so we'll be coming soon. So we love you so much. What's only what I do for Christ? Well, your work is finna speak for you. You don't have to speak for you. We gonna speak for you too. So, all right. Well, we love you. All right. There you go, baby.
Yes, and so since we're celebrating, I just have to say it's my birthday month. And I'm celebrating 30 days. It's actually Saturday, and on the 10th. And Nick is organizing a as usual, he's got a car parade, so that time will be
He said car parade.
Car parade. Isn't that what I said?
No, that's what he said, car parade.
Okay, yeah, organizing a car parade, and so the time will be announced, but we're planning for it to be on Rosa Street, right, Nick? Rosa Street, and that's all that we have. Let's see, Sharice
We're gonna go at 5 p.m.
Is it 5?
5 p.m. Sunday.
Okay, 5 p.m. Sunday. What is she saying?
Oh.
Come through this week?
She's gonna come through. I got it. She's coming through this week.
Christy Jones, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you all. Like I said, maybe next time we can have all of the candidates on, because that was the intent for tonight, so that they could share with you, the community, their plans for what they were going to do once elected.
Right. And one last thing that I do want to say on that. One last thing that I do want to say on that. I know that Mr. Laverne used courage, and I wasn't trying to, take away from his words in any way. But what I was trying to, just make plain is a lot of the candidates already had prior engagements. Some were, campaigning for their own, precincts and stuff. So that's excusable. A lot of them did not show for the reason of lack of courage. That's what I was trying to say. Some of them just simply could not make this engagement. So I want that to be clear,
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Exactly.
Yes, definitely a neutral platform here.
Right. Absolutely.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much, moderators. You did an excellent job. And yes, let's see. We're at, what time do we start? 7:30? Yeah. So, we all got a little long-winded, huh? But it was awesome. Thank you, Zanthia, for the happy birthday wish. And she says, thank you all so much for organizing this event. Much needed and greatly appreciated. Awesome.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Kim with the Democratic Party. Thank you.
She's amazing. She's going to do the next one.
Okay. Awesome. Maybe she can come on before that and have a conversation.
She's amazing.
Well, we love amazing. And you all are awesome. I love both of you so very much. And thank you for organizing this. And y'all keep it smiling, sunshine. Have a great night.
Nick, what you smiling?
All right, y'all.